Your marriage isn't actually missing passion. It's missing 8 small, unglamorous habits that quietly do more for a decades-long relationship than any single romantic gesture ever could. In Japan, marriages that last 30, 40, 50 years without quietly falling apart on the inside tend to share the same 8 habits. None of them exciting, all of them repeated so consistently that neither partner would ever think to call them effort. The same way nobody calls breathing effort even though the body is doing real work every single time. Today, I'll walk you through all 8. Habits many American couples let quietly slip the moment the relationship starts to feel comfortable and familiar. Exactly the moment they'd matter most. Stay until the 8th, because it's the one that sounds like the least romantic thing on this entire list, and it's actually the one holding all the others together. Number 4 is something most couples think they're already doing, and genuinely aren't. And number 7 is the one that gets quietly sacrificed first, the moment life gets busy. Let's begin. Number 1. Thanking each other for ordinary, expected things, not just for the big or unusual ones. Most couples save genuine thanks for the exceptional, a surprise gift, a big favor, while the daily expected contributions, making dinner, handling the bills, picking up the kids, go completely unacknowledged simply because they're expected. Here's the quiet cost of this pattern. A contribution that's never once acknowledged eventually starts to feel invisible to the person making it. And invisible effort is exactly the kind of thing that quietly turns into resentment over enough years. In Japan, saying thank you for the completely ordinary day-to-day tasks a partner handles is treated as a small daily ritual, not reserved for anything special. The shift: thank your partner today for something entirely routine, the thing they do so consistently, you've genuinely stopped noticing it. That's number 1. Number 2, never discussing money in vague terms. Always specific numbers, specific accounts, specific plans, reviewed together on a regular ongoing basis. Vague conversations about finances. We should probably save more. Things are a little tight this month. Feel like communication without actually being useful. And years of vague conversation quietly compound into real confusion about where a couple actually stands financially. Here's why specificity matters so much here. A vague money conversation lets both partners walk away with a slightly different understanding of the same conversation. And those small gaps in understanding accumulate into real conflict once something significant actually needs deciding. In Japan, many couples maintain a regular, specific check-in on shared finances, numbers on the table, not just a general feeling discussed in passing. The shift: schedule an actual conversation with real numbers, once a month or once a quarter, rather than letting money only come up during stressful moments. That's number 2. Number 3, maintaining separate individual interests and friendships rather than expecting a spouse to be the sole source of every kind of connection. Some couples slowly narrow their entire social and emotional life down to just each other, which sounds romantic on paper and quietly becomes exhausting in practice. One person now expected to be a spouse, best friend, hobby partner, and emotional outlet all at once. Here's the mechanism behind why this backfires over decades. No single person can realistically meet every relational need another person has, and expecting them to eventually produces quiet disappointment on both sides, not because the relationship failed, but because it was asked to do a job no relationship can actually do alone. In Japan, maintaining separate friendships and individual hobbies throughout a marriage is considered healthy, not a sign of distance. The shift: protect at least one friendship or interest that's entirely your own, completely separate from your partner, and encourage them to do the same. That's number 3. Number 4, the one most couples think they're already doing: actually finishing a conversation instead of one partner simply going quiet to avoid further conflict. Going quiet feels like ending an argument peacefully in the moment. But here's what it actually does long term. An unfinished disagreement doesn't disappear just because nobody's talking about it anymore. It simply goes underground, resurfacing later in a completely unrelated argument that never stood a chance of staying small. In Japan, there's a strong cultural instinct toward resolving a specific disagreement completely before moving on from it, even if resolution takes longer than either partner would prefer in the moment. The shift: The next time you feel the urge to go quiet just to end an uncomfortable conversation, stay in it a little longer instead, until something actually gets resolved, rather than simply avoided. That's number 4. Number 5. Physical affection that isn't tied exclusively to romantic or sexual moments. A hand on the shoulder, sitting close together, small ordinary touches throughout an entirely ordinary day. Physical affection often narrows over the years to only appear during specifically romantic moments, which means most of an ordinary day passes with zero physical connection at all, quietly training both partners to associate touch only with something rare rather than something constant. Here's the mechanism worth understanding. Small, non-romantic physical touch throughout the day maintains a baseline sense of closeness that romantic touch alone, occurring only occasionally, simply can't sustain by itself. In Japan, subtle daily physical closeness, sitting near each other, small ordinary gestures, tends to persist even in relationships that aren't especially demonstrative in public. The shift: add one small ordinary physical touch to an entirely unremarkable moment today. Nothing romantic, just present. That's number 5. Number 6. Genuinely celebrating a partner's individual achievements, not just shared ones, even when they highlight a difference in success or recognition between the two of you. It's easy to celebrate wins that belong to both partners equally, and quietly harder to celebrate a partner's individual success that doesn't directly involve you, especially if it stirs up any comparison at all. Here's why this matters more than couples expect. A partner who senses their individual wins are met with quiet ambivalence eventually stops sharing them at all, which slowly closes off an entire category of genuine connection between two people who are supposed to be each other's biggest supporters. In Japan, genuine enthusiasm for a spouse's individual accomplishments, separate from the marriage itself, is considered an essential marker of a healthy long-term partnership. The shift: the next time your partner shares something they're proud of, notice your own reaction honestly, and make sure genuine enthusiasm, not polite acknowledgement, is what actually comes through. That's number 6. Number 7. Protecting regular, uninterrupted time together, away from phones, children, and other obligations, treated as a real, non-negotiable appointment, rather than whatever's left over after everything else is handled. Most couples let quality time become whatever naturally survives a busy week, which in practice usually means very little survives at all, since nothing scheduled competes well against everything else demanding immediate attention. Here's the mechanism behind why this quietly erodes a relationship over years. A relationship that only gets leftover time and leftover attention slowly starts to feel like it matters less than everything else in a couple's life, even when neither partner ever consciously decided that to be true. In Japan, a regular, protected time together, even briefly, tends to be treated with the same seriousness as any other fixed commitment. The shift: schedule genuine, uninterrupted time together on a fixed, recurring basis, and protect it the same way you'd protect an appointment you couldn't reschedule. That's number 7. And number 8, the one that sounds like the least romantic thing on this entire list, and is actually the one holding all the others together, treating the marriage itself as something requiring ongoing, active maintenance, rather than something that simply runs on its own once established. Here's the counterintuitive part. The assumption that a good marriage should require little conscious effort once it's stable is exactly what causes so many stable marriages to quietly drift apart over enough years, since nothing that requires no attention at all tends to stay in good condition indefinitely. In Japan, a marriage is often spoken about the way a long-term collaborative project would be, something actively tended to, checked on, adjusted, rather than something finished the day the wedding ends. The shift: treat your own marriage as something requiring regular, ongoing attention, the same way you'd treat anything else valuable enough to actually maintain on purpose. That's number 8. And it's quietly the belief that makes the other 7 habits actually last for decades, instead of just a few good years. So here's everything in one breath. Thank each other for the ordinary things. Talk about money in specifics, not vague terms. Keep separate friendships and interests alive. Finish conversations instead of going quiet. Add small physical touch outside romantic moments. Celebrate individual wins genuinely. Protect real time together, and treat the marriage itself as something requiring ongoing maintenance. Now, as promised, here's a quick way to see which of these 8 matters most for your own relationship right now. Think of the last small disagreement or distance between you and your partner, and ask honestly which of these 8 habits, if it had been stronger, would have prevented it entirely. That's usually the habit worth strengthening first, and it's rarely the one that would have felt most obvious to name before you actually thought it through. None of this requires a couple's retreat, a big romantic gesture, or a single dollar spent on anything. It requires 8 small, unglamorous habits, repeated consistently enough over decades that neither partner ever needs to call it work. Pick just one of these 8 to focus on this month, the one you know has quietly slipped the most in your own relationship. Add a second next month, and a third the month after that, until all 8 are quietly running in the background of an ordinary week, without either of you ever needing to name them out loud. Most couples who stay genuinely close for decades never do it through one dramatic reconnection. They do it by refusing to let any single one of these 8 habits quietly disappear for too long at a time. By the end of a year, most couples find the distance that had quietly been growing has simply stopped growing, without either partner ever having a single big, heavy conversation about where things had drifted. You don't need a more exciting marriage. You need one that's still quietly, actively being maintained, the same way anything worth keeping for decades eventually needs to be. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these 8 has slipped the most in your own relationship over the years? Tell me the number in the comments, and be honest, it's usually easier to name which one your partner has slipped on than which one you have yourself. And if this changed how you think about your own marriage, send it to the couple you know who've been together decades and still somehow seem to genuinely like each other, and ask them, one day, which of these 8 they'd say is the real secret. We'll see you in the next one, and good luck with that overdue thank you.